she runs. I got a couple YouTube shorts up if you haven't seen it already. But this is my 1990 Civic wagon. We put the new cylinder head on it. The cylinder head came off a D15 B7. We just got lucky and found one in the salvage yard. And this is a D15 B2 block. If you can, there it is. If you can see it down there. So everything's bone stock. This is a non-VTEC head. We reused the timing belt. We reused the head gasket. We reused the head studs or the head bolts. None of which I recommend anyone to actually do, but it got the car running. It does run and drive down the road. We got the hot air intake put on it. That was on there when I bought the car. And everything seems to work. It has a really good heater in it, which it's getting warm here in Oklahoma, so it's not really a big deal. But as far as right now goes, everything works on it. I mean, the rear wiper arm does work, but it doesn't have an actual wiper on it. I forgot to buy one, but it has new front wipers, so the front wipers work pretty good. There's a few things it needs. Turn signals. It needs some actual turn signals, not just bulbs hanging out. But this is how I bought the car. I gave $700 for it and drove it 3 hours home. It had a bad head on it. Something got down in the cylinder at some point and beat the crap out of the I think it was number 1. Yeah, it was a number 1 cylinder, I believe. But it beat the head up real bad and damaged the valve seat, so the valves could not seal. The piston has a little bit of denting damage on the top of it, so we went ahead and just poured ATF on top of the pistons. It held fluid for about 2 months before it really started to even start to bleed down. So I decided not to put a bottom end in it or swap my D16 into it quite yet. We are going to hold on to the D16 and try to get some, probably try to get some machine work done, because it does have a journal. I'll go ahead and show you. I'm so used to my cars having a latch at the back, I forget that. Put it right here. So now it's open. So I bought this block off a buddy of mine. He gave me a really killer deal on it. I think I paid like 40 bucks or something. It was super cheap. D16 Y7 block. It spun the number 1 rod bearing, like bad. If you can focus, it's not going to focus. There it is. So that's the rod bearing, or the rod journal, and it trashed the rod. I think this is actually, yep, there's the rod. It looks like absolute crap. So I was just going to put some cheap rods, whatever, like Eagle rods or something, and Vitara pistons in it, and make this a healthy D16 build. And I still might, but there's not a lot of machine shops local to me like there used to be. A lot of them have really shut down. So I got to find someone that will turn this for me. And I'm not 100% that these aren't standard, or that these aren't already turned 10 over. So if these have already been turned 10, I got to trash this crank and find another one, which there is another one in the salvage yard for sure. But that's the story on the D16. I do have a head. It's up under all that stuff. I have a head and I have an intake to get rid of my single port fuel injection thing that these cars came with. But the wagon does run. It has a truck tip on it, which it's loud. It's louder than I would actually like it. But the interior is not bad on it. It's pretty clean. I mean, it needs vacuumed out, but the dash is not destroyed. It's actually in pretty good shape. The headliner is not bad. It needs a light cover. But the headliner's not beat to crap. It's missing the little clips that are supposed to go in there to hold it. But I'm thinking about redoing the headliner with something different. Maybe something similar to what I did in the Festiva. It's missing a radio. It has been manual swapped, so if you look at the dash, it does have the fancy park reverse neutral drive. But it is a manual swap car. I bought it this way. I'm pretty sure this is the automatic safety switch that they pretty much just stuck in neutral or park to where it just starts all the time. But the trans is really crisp. Like, it's first, second, third, fourth. I mean, it's not awful. I've definitely driven worse. The AC, as far as I know, does not work. Everything's there. The compressor's there. The condenser's there. I think it just needs either the fuse checked, or maybe something is actually bad on the system. But I don't know that I'd want to drive this car with AC. It already has a hard time getting up hills with this 1.5 liter. It's just not a whole lot of power. It does have a header. I don't know if that's like an OBX header or what brand it is, but it does have a header already. It was like that when I bought it. I put a new O2 sensor on it, and the plugs that are in this head are actually the plugs that came out of the salvage yard in this head. We never took them out. So it actually fired up. We did have an issue with the starter. The wire on the starter down here was loose, but I tightened it up, so there's not a nut on there. I just hammered it on there to where it's tight enough. Yeah, not a whole lot about this car is great, but it does run, it does get down the road. I had to put a fender on it. When I bought it, it was missing this fender, so I had to track that down. Somebody in Maryland had that fender, and it was like $350 for that fender, because if you don't know, wagon stuff is wagon specific. So things on wagons only fit wagons. For example, the fenders. I don't know about everything, but I know you can't put an EF sedan or an EF hatch fender on a wagon. It will not fit. And I'm guessing it has something to do with this funky little body line that is like incorporated into the fender, and the fact that the fender has this weird kind of slope that the sedans did not. They were kind of level. But I don't know. I'm not a Honda expert, but $700, I couldn't say no. I did drive it home. It was misfiring pretty bad. I have a video of it. I'll probably stick in here, but it ran terrible when I brought it home. It does still need a timing belt tensioner. The one that's on there, it works, but it makes a terrible noise. You can tell the bearings are going out in it, so we'll be pulling all that apart and throwing a new timing belt tensioner on it at some point. But I just left the top cover off of it because it was pretty well cracked to pieces, so it gives it that nice Ricer JDM vibe, if you want to call it that. But the radiator is absolutely massive. I guess this is the factory radiator, and they just bent the lines down there for the automatic trans cooler. And it's a cable clutch, so later on I might swap it over to hydraulic. I don't know how hard it is to swap to hydraulic on these, but if it's easy enough, we might do that. I know these never came hydraulic in 1990, so there's no hole already there, so I might just leave it cable. It does work. It's a little heavier than a hydraulic clutch would be. The motor seems to have plenty of compression. It runs like a top. I mean, it does smoke a little bit. I think it probably it needs a new block. I'm pretty sure that block got damaged when the whatever was in there was beating the crap out of the bottom of the head and the top of the piston. But the cylinder wall on number one, I'm sure, is the culprit for us smoking just a little bit. But it does run okay. I mean, it gets us down the road, but eventually it'll probably get a D16. I don't think I'll put an H series or a B series in it. I just like the single cams. They're cool. They're capable of making power, and they're pretty affordable to build. So we'll probably go with the D16, just keep it a D series. I do have a CRV diff for it that I'll probably be putting in at some point. So I have the CRV diff. I don't have the subframe yet, but my friend does have a subframe for it, so I'll probably grab that off of him for super cheap. He already said he'd give me a deal on it. So I'll probably grab the subframe. I'm going to have to notch or hammer the rear to make it work, just because this is not a RT four-wheel drive car. So I'll probably have to do some fancy stuff. And wagon parts, if you don't know, if you're not in the Honda community, wagon diffs are extremely expensive and are kind of hard to find. So we'll probably be running the CRV diff, and there's some kind of thing where you can like weld these pins in the diff to make it, they call it like the poor man wagon diff. So we'll probably end up doing that. This thing's not going to make a ton of power. More than likely it'll probably just be like maybe a 400 or 500 horsepower build on the D series. We're not trying to squeeze any crazy numbers out of it right away. The body on it is not bad. It's in pretty good condition. It just, I mean, the paint sucks. So there's a few little dents here and there, but everything can be fixed fairly easy. The bumper fitment's not great. There's a bunch of clips that are supposed to be there that are not there. But it goes down the road. We got it back together and running. So I'm pretty excited about it. I do have a dip your car kit from it's, I think, dyc.com is what they call it. I actually got it on a trade for my Subaru wagon a while back, and I just haven't used it yet. So I have what they call anthracite gray, and I believe the other one's like snow white. It's like a flat white, basically. I thought about trying to make it a pearl white and like adding gloss to it. I'm trying to decide on what color I want to do. We might just kind of sand it down and hit it with spray paint. We might use a house roller. We haven't decided yet, but we also need to figure out what kind of paint scheme we want to do on the Festiva. So we just hit, well, since my last full-length video, that's not a short, we just hit over 100 subscribers, and that was a pretty huge milestone for me. So thank you everyone that made that possible. I think we're at 148 now, so I've learned that sharing makes a huge difference. It adds a lot. I had a bunch of friends that shared my post, and it just kind of took off overnight. We're growing. We're trying to get there. 1,000 is obviously the milestone, because that's when we can start like advertising for companies and helping other companies grow and helping us kind of do the stuff that we enjoy to do. You know, I appreciate you guys helping me, even though, you know, we're still a small channel. If y'all want to see some content on the GR Corolla, let me know. This thing is an absolute unit. We'll go over this later on, but the Corolla is such a blast. Let me know if you guys want to see more than just car stuff, because we're going to start doing boat fishing, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to start seeing that, we can for sure start putting some videos out doing boat fishing, and we'll get some cool roller shots of the wagon pulling the airboat around. That'll be pretty sweet. So if you guys want a t-shirt, this is my t-shirt. It's drivefastapparel.com. I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can grab one. But it's got the Festiva on the back of it. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can grab a t-shirt. They make them in hoodies too. It has my YouTube and my Instagram on it. So I'll also put a discount code in. It'll give you 10% off, and I get a little commission off of every purchase. So if you guys could grab one of these t-shirts, I would really appreciate it. The Festiva is really close. The wagon is back on the road. We're going to get the boat back together. There's a lot going on, so hopefully we can keep steady content rolling. You guys are supporting me. I got one video that's got, for me, it's huge. I got 22 likes on one of my shorts. So the most recent short I put up, I think yesterday it's like 1,900 views on that short of the wagon doing a burnout. So you guys are supporting what I'm doing, and I really appreciate it. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep sharing the content, and don't forget to grab a t-shirt if you want one. If you guys have any questions about the coupon code or have any issues, just comment on the video, get a hold of me. I'll for sure get back to you as quick as I can, and we'll get it sorted out. But so far everything's been pretty seamless. These guys, Drive Fast Apparel, been kind of supporting me and helping me get my name out there. So it'd be really cool to see you guys wearing my shirts. Get a hold of me if you guys have any advice or recommendations on what I could do different on the channel. I'm trying to keep it as consistent as I can. I'm trying to do my powder coating business that I just started at the end of last year, and YouTube. I'm trying to do that. That's pretty much my focus. So if you guys whatever are into powder coating, then I'll throw up a short or a video of me doing some powder coating on some wheels or some suspension components or whatever the case. I'm trying to pretty much do my powder coating business and YouTube full time. That's kind of the goal. So you guys keep supporting me the way you are. We can make that a reality for sure. 1,000 is the goal, and then hopefully it just keeps growing from there. But we're at almost 150, and I'm hoping that we can climb and keep going up and up from there, because I want to ultimately just do this full time. This is my dream. It's been my dream since I was a kid. So you guys keep supporting what I'm doing, and I'll keep giving you the best content that I can. That's it. That's all we got for this video. You guys, if you want to support me, go ahead and grab a t-shirt or a hoodie. I'm gonna be doing some cool custom stuff soon. The Corolla's gonna get some upgrades. There's a lot of stuff going on, so you guys keep watching. Like I said before, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you guys later.